Thank you. This meeting is being held virtually. Should any technical interruption to the meeting occur and the meeting is suddenly ended, it will not be resumed and all items will be automatically continued to the next scheduled meeting date. This meeting is being recorded by the Conservation Commission. If any other persons present are doing the same, you must notify the chairperson at this time. I will now call to order this meeting of the Greenfield Conservation Commission at 6:33 p.m. on August 27th, 2024. Commission members present are Emily, Travis, and myself.
Yep.
Okay. Our first item on the agenda is a public hearing.
Oh, probably approval of minutes first.
Oh, right.
Just
Thank you. Yep.
to get that out of the way.
My screen, yes. So approval of minutes. Is everybody kind of taking a look at those? Want to make a motion?
I was going to abstain from it because I wasn't even there at that meeting.
I'll make a motion. Can we vote on it since we don't have quorum?
I think we just need a majority of the people here.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Yeah, for some things, yeah, we can do that. If it's not like a hearing.
Well, I'll second the motion.
Okay. In a second. So vote to approve. Emily?
Aye.
Travis, you're going to abstain.
Yeah.
I'm also an aye. Minutes from last meeting pass. Okay. So now that we've got that sorted out, thanks for the reminder, Travis. Moving on to the public hearings. Notice of intent, stream bank restoration at 290 Shelburne Road, map 25, lot 31A, continued from August 13th, 2024.
They requested a continuance.
Okay.
While they responded to EP comments. So next meeting is September 10th.
Okay, so we will continue 290 Shelburne Road on to September 10th.
I'll make a motion to continue to September 10th.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. All right, so we will vote on the motion to continue this on to the next meeting. Emily?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. Next up. A request for an amended order of conditions, cell tower installation at 112 Newton Street, map R24, lot 7A, DEP number 168-0352. Let's see. I've got some folks here to talk about that.
So, good evening. This is Michael Rosen. I am representing Viridi Wireless, and I appeared before this board a couple of months ago where we talked about modifications. We presented plans that evening. You had asked a few follow-up questions and requested that we schedule a formal meeting. So, I would just point out that we did the publication of the notice. We did notifications to abutters and the abutters and the affidavit. We notified the DEP, and then we submitted updated plans and the key to what you were looking for, which was a stormwater report, which reflected what we had verbally discussed at the last meeting, which was there was negligible, if any, difference between the design that accommodates the fire department's request versus the design that we had originally submitted. I could, if you'd like, ask Mr. Hodgetts to walk you through the plans and the report if you'd like. You know, on the other hand, we did walk through the plans at the last meeting, and hopefully everyone got the report in advance and had time to review it. And we could walk through it, or if you prefer, if you just have any questions, if any of the members of the board had any follow-up questions, that might be the more, definitive way to get any information that you're looking for. So I'll defer to what you would prefer. If you would like Mr. Hodgetts to present, we can certainly ask him to.
Travis or Emily, do you have any preference?
I would say since we have the stormwater stuff up, maybe just if they could give a little overview of that first, and then after that, we could maybe just look at the plan again.
Lou,
Just
you
for-
are, yeah, Lou, you're gonna unmute and go through the report, please.
Yes, sorry, my video's not working well, so I turned it off. So you have the report open, as Michael said, and as we discussed during the last meeting we attended, due to the fire department's request, we upsized the access road from 12 feet wide to 18 feet wide, and we installed some parking and a turnaround area down at the base of the tower, at the end of the driveway. At the previous meeting, I had mentioned that the perimeter swale that goes around the compound had sufficient capacity to cover the increase in impervious area. That was true for the most part, but we did upsize it slightly. I made it about 6 inches deeper, just to hold some more of the 100-year storm volume, which dropped down the total volume from the previously approved total volume discharged from the previously approved 0.024 acre feet to 0.016 acre feet. It also reduced the peak flow from our previously approved from 0.05 to 0.04 CFS, which is significantly below what the pre-routed existing discharge is, which is 0.17 CFS and 0.028 acre feet at the 100-year storm. For the 2-year storm and the 10-year storm, there's no discharge from the treatment swale. So everything will be retained and infiltrated on site.
Appreciate you doing those calculations, and also it's great that you made some adjustment for the 100-year storm. We are getting those much more frequently, so it's really important to have that additional storage. Thank you.
Does
I
anyone
get-
else? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna, so just to clarify, so this says previously approved, post-routed, post-development. That's the plan that has already been approved. And then the in bold is what the proposed amended plan would be. And it's showing a reduction from what has already been approved. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was one of the main sticking points, is we just wanted to make sure it
Yep.
wasn't increasing yeah, the discharge during a storm. Seems like it's decreasing it, so that's, from that point of view, it's even better than it was before.
Yeah. So when I had redone it, the peak discharge, the peak flow rate was still below what we had previously approved, but the overall volume was greater. So that's why we increased the depth of the swale around it to provide additional storage.
Okay.
If no
Do
one
we
else
have
has,
any-
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, do we have any photos that are new since the last time we met? Just asking if they are. exist, not
updated
that they need
plans.
to- yeah, that they need to.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you want us to throw the updated plans on? And Lou can walk you through the changes.
So we updated a couple minor things, mostly for the zoning board meeting that we have in a month or so. Nothing that really applies to your board, except we increased the depth of the stormwater treatment swale. We had some clarification things that they require as part of their permit review process. So we incorporated those into this plan set, but the only change that affects your review is the widened access road from 12 to 18 feet, which if you go to the next page, it's a little clearer. The red outline is the access route as it was previously approved. And then we show the proposed access route and the proposed turnaround area outside the limits of disturbance within the wetland buffer.
Does anyone have any questions on the plans?
I feel like I asked all my questions the last time we saw the plans, even though I guess it has changed slightly with the deeper basin, but otherwise, yeah.
Point out to me where the basin is, and want to make sure I understand where the storage will be.
It completely wraps around the telecommunication compound. So where that gray hatched area is, that's a pretreatment forebay. And then it wraps around to the left, down the page and over to the right, like a horseshoe, with more pretreatment at the southeast corner. And then there's a stabilized overflow to an undisturbed filter strip before it discharges to the wetland
Right,
on the
I see that.
left-hand side of the page.
Looks good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the commission? Okay. Do we have any DEP comments we need to review?
No.
Okay.
I don't think they provide comments for amendments.
I'm still just going through my
Yeah.
list to make sure I don't miss
Yeah.
anything. So
I think Mark would if he had.
Yeah, we want you to check off every box. We would
Yeah.
recommend.
Okay, so this is a public hearing, so at this point, we would open the public comment period. If there's anybody here that has any comments from the public that they would like to make, this would be the time to do so. Beautifully quiet. So hearing nothing and seeing nothing in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and say that we could probably close this particular public comment period, given that this is a hearing, we do have to vote to close the hearing. Are we ready to do that, folks? Okay. So
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
So a second from Emily. So I'm going to go with you, Emily. Start for passing this motion.
Aye.
Travis?
All right.
I'm also an aye. So, yeah, bear with me. We actually, Travis, I'm glad that you're here. If you want to remind me of what our next step would be for the
Yeah,
next.
I was gonna ask Mitch. I think, Mitch, do you remember, is there a form for amended orders of conditions?
Yeah, so it is the order conditions form, but there's a checkbox that it's an amended.
Okay, so it would just be the same form as before, just amended. So
Yeah, you'd vote to just issue an amended order of conditions or deny it.
yeah. Okay. I just couldn't remember if there was a specific form or not. I'll make a motion to issue an amended order of conditions for this project.
A second.
So we are issuing a amended order of conditions for the stream bank restoration at, nope. For cell tower installation at 112 Newton Street, map R24, lot 7A, DEP number 168-0352. Emily?
Aye.
Before I vote,
Yep.
I just wanted to clarify, I think we could add additional conditions at this point if we wanted, but I don't see any reason to do that. And I would say just original conditions apply.
Agreed.
All right, so Travis, the vote is to you.
Aye.
Aye, I'm also an aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have anything further that we need to do for the folks for the cell tower installation? As the commission?
I think we're good. We have a zoning hearing left. And hopefully that will go as smoothly as this evening did.
Thank you for your time, folks.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a nice night.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, so then we will move on to our next public hearing. And if I'm reading everything right here, we're looking at a notice of intent for bridge repairs near 43 Mill Street, DEP number 168-0362. Bree, I see you've got your,
Yes, good evening.
yes, and I can hear you. Great.
Good evening. Is Alan on? Alan from the DPW? Okay, so it's just me. So my name is Bree Sullivan. You have to excuse me. I'm in the middle of a trip. I'm down sitting in the car in Georgia. So I apologize for the background. Thank you for having us tonight. So what we did is we filed a notice of intent for bridge repairs. So essentially the current bridge, as many of you are probably aware, was constructed, I think sometime in the 80s, the early 80s. The bridge has, it requires a little bit of maintenance. There's nothing terribly wrong with the bridge. What the city wants to do is to get these repairs done in order to avoid future issues with the bridge. So essentially, if not for the repairs that we're planning needing to brace one of the structural elements of the bridge, we wouldn't even talk about this because all of the work is outside of the resource area. So essentially what's going to happen is, may I share my screen with you? Okay. So I'll just cut to the chase. Let me see if I've got it here. Okay, I can share this and we'll share that. So in the documentation I've provided, we've provided the photos of the bridge. As many of you are aware of the top side of the bridge, you can see this is what you see when you go over it today. There are a few things that they want to correct with the railing. There's a 25-foot section of railing that's going to be replaced. Not a big deal there. That's pretty easy. No resource area disruption there. So this is actually a view looking over the downstream side. So the side downstream of the dam. Actually off to the left here is the mill. Is it the mill museum off to the left here? And so what I did to take these pictures is I actually went out on that little catwalk that's there. The catwalk is there to operate the, there's a, I believe it's a sluice gate that you can open here. I don't know that it's been operated in a while, but that's what the catwalk is there for. I have a photo of that here, right here. So I'm looking down at the catwalk here. So essentially, this is the reason why we're here. This is the bridge abutment, the top corner of the bridge abutment. And you can see the rebar is exposed here. The idea behind this repair is to get that repaired before it actually becomes a bigger issue. To do that, what needs to happen is the beam that you can see in this up in the upper left-hand corner of photo 8 here needs to be supported. So what's going to happen is they're going to put barriers on the bridge in the vicinity of this beam so that nobody drives over it while they're working on it. And then shore this beam up with a shoring tower, which is going to require, I'm looking down directly below the beam, it's going to require the shoring tower to be installed here in the waterway. So this area of the waterway, you can kind of see, this is the spillway right here. There's actually a concrete wall as part of the abutment here. And then this is the abutment here. This is kind of still water here. There really isn't a whole lot of, there's definitely some current eddies here, but there's really not a lot of flow here. I'm going to switch over to the plan so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So this is a plan view of the bridge. Here's the dam right here. The repair in question is in this area here. And you can see this is actually the profile view. If you were standing in the river downstream of the dam, looking at the dam, this is what you would see. Here's the catwalk here. And the proposed shoring tower is going to go here. I mean, I know it looks like it's on the embankment. This is actually going to be placed on the footing because the footing sticks way out underwater. I actually, when I was there, I actually took the measuring rod and I was able to probe in the water, and it's solid concrete and flat. So we're not talking about riverbed, stream bed disruption there. It's concrete. So pretty much what they're going to do is come in, put a shoring tower in, just take the load off the beam, do the abutment repairs, and then let the load back down and remove the shoring tower. That's the extent of what's being done here. Because of the side slopes, the only way they can do this is from the roadway. So there's going to be no access on the banks. You just can't. It's like a 1-to-1 slope there, and anything you try to do there, you're going to end up in the water. So everything will likely be done. This is means and methods. The contractor is responsible for means and methods. Everything will be done from the roadway, from the paved surface of the roadway. So you can see this area here. This is going to be barriered to traffic, so traffic can't drive across this. There will be 2 lanes of traffic on this road when the repair is being done. Not when the crane's going to be there, but the point is they won't have to close the bridge to do this work. So in the document that I provided, the documentation, I talked about impacts to resource areas, and really all we're talking about is land underwater impacts and, of course, riverfront. So the land underwater impact is going to be a maximum of 400 square feet. So, and again, this is going to be on the abutment, the top of the abutment. So we're really not going to be disrupting the stream bed at all. So at that point, I can be open to any questions, or if there's any additional detail that you want about any parts of the notice of intent, I can provide that.
I have a question about the 400 square feet that you said would be impacted, because it sounds like the pillar, the support is going to be put on top of the toe of the existing pillar. Is the disturbance, do you anticipate that coming from the work that's done when it's being done, or is there some way that the embankment is going to be I'm just curious what that impact will be.
So it will be strictly limited to the temporary impact associated with construction operations.
Okay.
There will be no permanent impacts to the embankment or to the resource area.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
I have a question about the when they're doing the work on I assume there's going to be some sort of like demolition of the current part that's falling apart and then rebuilding it. And I was just wondering what the plan is for making sure debris is not getting into the river.
So typically the way that's done is the scaffolding could have been used to do this, but it's going to be in the way of the shoring tower, so they have to remove it. Typically, they put shielding around the area that they're working to catch any debris. If you look in the narrative talks about any debris falling in the water needs to be removed. There needs to be provisions to stop debris from falling in the water into the resource area. That can be made pretty clear at the pre-construction meeting with conservation and with the city. So it's probably a good thing to have that in the order of conditions. But typically when the contractors that do this all the time. And so they're really familiar with working over the resource area. But that definitely is worth mentioning to the contractor during the pre-construction meeting.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I mean, as you were saying, it seems very minimal disturbance. If I mean, really, the disturbance is like the water. You know, like there's going to be more material, like taking like flood storage away, kind of temporarily while the construction's being done.
I wouldn't want to calculate that. It's
Yeah,
so
very small.
infinitesimal.
Yeah.
It's so infinitesimal that it would be certainly be de minimis.
And like no, I mean, I was kind of wondering if even like the land underwater applied, because I mean, it's not the land under the water, it's concrete structure under the water,
Well,
so
exactly. It's certainly
Yeah.
not natural stream bed. It's a structure that exists now. Typically, when they use these shoring towers, they have to have this firm footing. There's already a footing there for them to do
Mhm.
this. So it's really, really basic.
Yeah.
Do we have any further questions from the commission? Sorry, I had to turn off my camera. My internet's a little wonky. But so does the commission have any further questions?
Just there's a lot of impacts on this bridge. We've had this part of the river come up in other meetings. There's washing away and there's big projects that have happened there. I'm
Mhm.
just curious if there's any assessment on the bridge overall. Is this the only area of concern? Are there other areas that might need to be addressed later? And they're, like this is just one thing to get through now, or is this the major point of damage and need for repair on the bridge?
So I didn't do the inspection on the bridge myself. I am a federally trained bridge inspector. When I was out there looking at the bridge, for its age, it actually looks pretty good to me. Again, I didn't look at the whole structure. These repairs come from a result of the biannual. So they do these bridge inspections by federal law. They have to do them every 2 years. If there are components on the bridge that require further assessment in a shorter time frame, they create a special inspection. So these particular repairs were identified on that statutory inspection that's required for all bridges that are over 20 feet. So the goal of this repair plan was to address all the issues while we have the repair crew out there, so that the service life of the bridge is maintained. And so the indirect question, the indirect answer, right? But the direct answer to your question is, this will resolve the issues that could turn into something larger and cause a bigger issue. I mean, obviously you don't want deteriorating concrete on the bridge. You don't want the structural capacity to be compromised. but more so for what the commission's concerns are, you don't want that material getting into the river and getting into the habitat.
Precisely.
Absolutely. Great, thank you. It's helpful to know where this came from and what the assessment was, and thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, if the commission doesn't have any further questions or comments at this point, given that this is an NOI, this would be the time to take the DEP, go through the DEP comments.
So yeah, the first one just being need to wait until Natural Heritage has issued its determination.
I'm guessing that hasn't come in at the last minute or anything before this meeting.
I didn't see it in my email. I don't know if,
I haven't seen
I don't
it.
know if they got it. Yeah.
I mean, we did send, I believe I included the documentation for the filing. We actually did file it electronically as required. And they're supposed to rule within 30 days. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, they can be slow.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And please visit FEMA mapping website for preliminary flood maps for Franklin County.
Mhm.
I think I grabbed that somewhere. We're in this area.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't see that map. I only saw the historic map. I mean, there shouldn't be any impact at all from this project.
So in terms of
Yeah.
the natural heritage, it seems like it's important to make sure that there's a determination so that if there's a timing issue about when the work is done or any other potential impacts, we can
Mhm.
avoid them.
Definitely.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait. And then I guess for now, just figure out if there's anything we need, any more information.
So I can't speak to number 3. What will happen when the contractor's on board is they will provide a plan that will show how they're going to set this up. And that plan will be provided to the commission as well. And that can inform the discussion that you have at the pre-construction meeting.
So when we do make decisions, we might include that as some of the conditions that we need to see the plan, we need to make a site visit and approve. Okay.
That I think that makes good sense.
Mhm.
And then preventing sediment from entering the water, maintaining and or increasing shading of the water column is important.
Yeah, so the discussion we had earlier about how the
Yes.
debris will be dealt with is
Right.
relevant there, and also natural heritage and there any recommendations they have.
And
I
then
think
just discussing the project with waterway staff in Boston regarding any potential permitting.
Which is outside of our jurisdiction.
Yep.
Right. That's just a note to the applicant that they may need to do that. Well, I guess we don't have to come up with an order of conditions tonight then. If we have to, I guess we'll have to continue it to wait for the natural heritage response.
Make notes, it might be that we would just want to make sure about debris loss, to have in mind that we're going to have a plan for reviewing and approving the site plan for the equipment placement, and then review the natural heritage any
I'm not understanding.
comments or decisions that they have. And whatever else we might attend, but those are the things that came up today.
So at this point, as a public hearing, we will open this for public comment. If there is anybody here from the public who has any comments, please speak them now. Hearing none. Let's go ahead and close the public comment. And now at this point, Travis, we're going to be voting to move the decisions around this to the next meeting, because we're going to wait for the national heritage letters.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make a motion to continue the public hearing to our next meeting on September 10th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m.
I'll second.
All right, let's take a vote. Emily,
Aye.
Travis,
Aye.
I am also an aye. Thank you for your time, Bree, especially given that you were on the road and in Georgia.
Thank you. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Have a good night.
You too. That is the end of our public hearings. So at this point, let's move on to other business. We have some new business, a request for certificate of compliance for bridge repairs at 43 Country Club Road.
Hi, we are here.
Okay.
I'm Amy Mascarotolo, and I believe my husband, David Mascarotolo, is on as well.
Hello.
Hi. So Mitch, what do we have for this particular project here?
Yeah, so we have I'll pull it up.
Okay.
They sent a letter from the engineer, just kind of saying everything went, as proposed. Certified through the completion of the bridge replacement, the project and property were in compliance with the order conditions. There's an as-built. I took some photos. The order conditions asked for an invasive management plan. Seems like they've been mechanically removing invasives. I think that's honeysuckle, but
Virginia creeper looks like.
oh, okay.
And
We have a lot of
honeysuckle.
Virginia creeper. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the honeysuckle. Yep.
So that wasn't present when we initially proposed the project. The biggest issue was actually on the other side of our property, or on there. And that's now filled in with jewelweed, with native jewelweed. There was not a lot, but there was some multiflora rose that we mechanically removed and I maintain. And you can see I've planted a couple of hostas, but otherwise we've really kind of let that be.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, this is the main area, right?
Yeah, we have successfully managed the multiflora rose. Thank heaven.
Then I guess there was some riprap put in. I think you said it was DPW did that. If
DPW
you
did
wanna
that.
talk about that.
Yeah, they were flushing hydrants. This was, I guess, the summer after the project was finished, and they were flushing hydrants on the street, and there was such a rush of water we had just done some planting there and it was stable, and when they flushed the hydrants, it washed that out completely. So we reached out to Director Warner and he sent some guys to put the riprap in just to stabilize it, and it has been, from the second they put it in, it's been fine.
Are there any questions from the commission?
I don't really have any questions. I was just looking up the order of conditions because we usually double check for
Mhm.
any conditions that apply in perpetuity to note that on a certificate of compliance.
And it was just maintaining the invasives, wasn't it?
Yeah, that we have, here, I'll share my screen. I got it up here. We have some standard conditions that we usually have on these. These are the ones in perpetuity. Dumping prohibited, no
Right.
dumping of leaves, grass clippings, brush. Additional alteration prohibited unless you get another permit. Mowing or vegetation management prohibited within the wetlands.
Mhm.
Stabilized slope shall be maintained as designed. Pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, and fertilizers prohibited within the 100-foot buffer zone. Native plant species, only non-invasive plant species may be planted on site within the resource areas and or buffer zone.
Right.
Non-native invasive plant species monitoring and management, continued monitoring and management of non-native and or invasive plant species on site.
Right.
So those are the ones that were just
Mhm.
listed as in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Most of those
And
are just our standard things.
Right, and you may recall, Travis, I'm a master gardener, so I'm very, very aware of invasive species. So
Mhm.
and that's why that multiflora rose is out of there.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So I guess if we issue a certificate of compliance, we should note 72 through 78 are conditions that continue in perpetuity.
I think in 70.
Oh, and 70, I missed one.
It's kind of hiding.
Oh yeah, that one's just all disturbed areas shall be permanently stabilized. You just have to maintain stabilized areas, basically.
Right, yep, and that was all done once the project was finished.
Yeah. So 70 and 72 through 78. I mean, I would say everything to me looks looks good. I'll go ahead and make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 43 Country Club Road with conditions 70 and 72 through 78 continuing in perpetuity.
Got a second from Emily. So we'll go ahead with the vote. Travis,
Aye.
Emily,
Aye.
I'm also an aye.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for your service to the
Yeah.
city too.
Thank you.
Thank
Greatly
you.
appreciated.
Flying through this meeting.
Uh, Let's see, the next thing we've got is request from Coastal Maine Botanical Gardens to collect and bank seeds at the Rocky Mountain Conservation Land. That's just us, I guess.
So yeah, we just got this request to collect some seeds at Rocky Mountain from the milkweed.
Mhm.
That seems
I
excellent.
guess,
Is there
sorry, go ahead.
any, that seems like an excellent cause. Is there any reason for concern?
Yeah, I guess the only thing that I would be thoughtful about is to, and I'm sure that they're aware of this, but having it said and on the record to make sure that they're only collecting the pods, not disturbing any of the roots. And that they don't take all of the pods, so that there's still some there to disseminate throughout the area.
It sounds like they would take one full plant, but I think that's what's meant by an herbarium specimen for documentation. Maybe I'm wrong.
No.
Somebody know? And otherwise, they would just be taking the seed. Our work would be conducted in a single day. Seed collection is extremely conservative, follows strict guidelines from the Center for Plant Conservation, and is restricted to robust populations of secure species. We would collect a single associated herbarium specimen for documentation and will write to you at the close of our field season to report on our work.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of those things where I think in our conservation land management rules and regulations, I think it says that no one can collect or remove any plant species or plant material or something like that without prior approval of the Conservation Commission. So they're just really crossing their T's and dotting their I's here to get approval for it.
I can see having that herbarium specimen being important because you just have a bunch of seeds. It doesn't tell you anything about the plant. If you have the plant, then you can tell what the genetics of it are in terms of crossbreeding and so on. So that seems like a perfectly reasonable request, and it's just one plant.
Okay.
Yeah. This is what I do to my neighbor's milkweed plants. I walk by when the seeds are opening up, and then I take them to my house, take the seeds home to my house.
Hey, we've
in my
got some
yard.
too. We could do an exchange if you want as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know if, I mean, it sounds like they probably, as Emily said, they'd probably be, it's, you know, they'd be doing this kind of conservatively. So I guess we could like say, yes, you can do this, just leave some, you know, I don't know how to word that to say like,
Right.
you know, without like attaching a number to it. Like, how do you say it? Like, leave every fifth pod, or you know what I
Well,
mean?
They gave those the what do you call it, like the criteria or the plan or whatever type that
Oh,
they
the guide, the best practices.
yeah, so that might, if we take a look at those, that might in
Yeah.
fact be just what we're
That's it's 245 pages long, just like
Yeah, I'm
oh my
looking at it.
God.
Might be in here somewhere.
With the preamble, no less.
You got all night.
110 is collecting seeds from wild rare plant population.
There we go. Wow, this is very detailed. So are you guys at that section?
Yeah.
The
So
FAO
what
GBAC standards?
there's on page 113, it says collect within permit guidelines to minimize impact on the wild population, collect no more than 10% of an individual plant's reproductive output and or no more than 10% of the population reproductive output in season.
Seems
It's
reasonable.
pretty low.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I
Pretty
mean, it's milkweed,
conservative.
so there's a lot of.
Yeah.
Still have a seed.
So yeah, I would say, I mean, if they're following these guidelines, we probably don't even need to
Yeah, this seems
say anything.
perfectly appropriate.
And especially like this isn't like a super rare plant or anything, you know.
I think that makes sense. Fine with me.
Shall I make a a motion to
Mhm.
approve their
Approve the
request per the conditions that they outlined in the letter, according to those criteria that the collection can be made and report to us at the end of their field season?
I'll second that.
Great. We've got all the T's crossed. So a vote, Emily,
Aye.
Travis,
Right.
I'm an aye. Request approved.
Right.
So we are at the point where, let's see, what am I supposed to say? Any topics not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance of the posting of this agenda? I assume there is no such thing.
I have nothing.
Nothing, okay.
Nothing.
What
I
about, say again?
I was just gonna mention, I don't know if you guys saw, but the trail maps are now up on our webpage. Mitch put them up there, so
Thank you,
Great.
Mitch. And thank you, Travis, for
Travis.
all that work.
Yeah, thank you, Travis.
yeah. I'm glad it was, you know, a 2-year process to finally get that done. So, and I saw someone use it too. I saw someone on Facebook linked it to someone else, and I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
that's pretty cool.
It was like
That's
it was like the
great.
day after they went up too.
Awesome.
Looks good. I'm checking it out. Awesome.
So, I do have a little piece of business that I wanted to just touch on because it was a little surprising to me when I heard it at the beginning of the meeting. And that is that Mitch is leaving us.
I am. Yeah.
So,
We'll miss you, Mitch.
I miss you
Yeah.
guys. It's good working with you all.
Yeah.
Appreciate all you've done.
I had a good chat with your new boss as a reference for you. I
Oh,
think
thank
I
you.
talked to him for like half an hour.
Where are
Appreciate
you
it.
moving on to?
Windsor. It's another
Oh.
me in the plan department.
Great. Are you moving up there?
No, I'm actually closer to Windsor than I am Windsor, Connecticut. Than
Oh, Windsor, Connecticut. I'm
yeah.
thinking Windsor,
Yeah.
Massachusetts, which is way out there. I used to live in
Right.
Plainfield, and yeah, that makes sense. Mitch, personal side, I ran into Mark. I think your dad, Mitch, Mark.
Oh,
Mark?
yeah, no, he told me.
Yeah,
That's funny.
that was so funny. It was really nice to meet him.
Were there task force updates?
I don't have one. The next meeting will be September 12th, or
Oh, okay.
in September. I might be
Gotcha.
getting the date wrong, but yeah, I've given them for all the meetings that we've had so far.
Okay.
If we don't have any other items of business, I think
Is there any site visit scheduling or any of that stuff?
I mean, quick update on 105 Newland, the storage buildings is just that they're done. They're taking out the erosion controls. So probably certificate of compliance requests coming soon. That's it.
That was the one that's like near the cell phone tower installation.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Okay. I did go past there maybe a week ago and I saw the plants going in from there, like landscaping. So I figured they were close to being done.
They're close. I think they need to put in a fence. That's about it.
And no updates on the enforcement orders?
No,
Yeah,
no updates.
okay,
He's got some time.
okay. Oh, that's right, we said November something or other.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well. Barring any other last minute points of conversation, I would say we can call an end to our meeting for today. Just looking for my words that I'm supposed to say here. I think at this point we could have a motion to end the meeting. Anybody want to
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn? I'll
Second.
Second, great. Okay. So can we have a vote? Emily,
Aye.
Travis,
Aye.
I'm also an aye. This meeting is adjourned at 7:28 PM, August 27th, 2024. Our next meeting will be September 10th, 6:30 PM, 2024.